I was diagnosed by a psychologist with both DPDR, depersonalization derealization disorder, and borderline personality disorder. What it's like to have depersonalization derealization disorder, DPDR, and borderline personality disorder at the same time, like I do. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to take you inside an experience that is incredibly real for thousands of people, yet almost impossible to explain to anyone who hasn't lived it. I want to describe what it feels like to live with depersonalization derealization disorder, known as DPDR, combined with borderline personality disorder, or BPD. These conditions alone are difficult enough, but together they create a psychological world where emotions feel explosive and overwhelming, while reality itself feels distant, disconnected, and unreal. Imagine having a heart that feels too much inside a world that feels like nothing. That is the paradox of borderline personality disorder and depersonalization derealization disorder. Two disorders pulling in opposite directions. Borderline personality disorder makes a person feel emotions intensely, instantly, and painfully. Depersonalization derealization disorder makes a person feel detached from their emotions, their body, or the world around them. It's like having one part of your mind on fire while another part is watching it burn from behind a glass wall. Borderline personality disorder says, feel everything now, feel it all at once. DPDR says, none of this is real, none of this is you. Living with both feels like emotionally flooded and emotionally numb at the same time. Depersonalization, not feeling like you're real. Depersonalization is when you feel disconnected from yourself. You might feel like you're watching yourself from the outside, like your voice isn't your own, like your thoughts don't feel attached to you, like you're in a dream inside your own mind, like you're acting on autopilot. For someone with borderline personality disorder whose sense of self is already fragile, this disconnection can be terrifying. You may ask yourself, who am I? Am I even here? Why do I feel like a stranger inside my own body? It feels like your identity was already shaky because of borderline personality disorder, and depersonalization, derealization disorder comes along and erases the little bit of identity you had left. Derealization. The world stops feeling real. Derealization affects the outside world. The world may look flat, distant, foggy, dreamlike, artificial, like you're watching life through a window. Colors look dull, people seem far away, sounds feel muffled. Life feels like a movie you forgot you're in. For someone with borderline personality disorder who already struggles with emotional insecurity, derealization adds a new layer of fear. How can I trust people when even the world around me doesn't feel real? Emotional chaos meets emotional numbness. Now imagine this, your emotions are exploding inside you because of borderline personality disorder. Fear of abandonment, shame, sensitivity, anger, panic, deep sadness. DPDR suddenly turns the emotional volume down to zero. You're having a breakdown, but you can't feel your own tears. You're terrified, but the fear feels far away. You're hurting, but the pain feels muted, disconnected, unreal. It creates a constant emotional whiplash. One moment your emotions are so strong they feel unbearable. The next moment you can't feel anything at all. This is not numbness by choice. This is your brain dissociating to protect you from emotional overload. The trigger cycle: overwhelm, dissociation, panic. Here's the cycle many people with borderline personality disorder plus depersonalization derealization disorder experience. Intense emotion: a comment, look, tone of voice, or fear of abandonment triggers a borderline personality disorder reaction. Emotional overwhelm. The emotions are so intense that your system cannot handle them. Dissociation kicks in. DPDR activates like an emergency escape hatch. You detach from yourself, your feelings, or the world. Panic about dissociation. The numbness feels scary. The unreality feels terrifying. You think, why does everything feel fake? Am I going crazy? More emotions. The panic triggers more emotions. More dissociation, which triggers more DPDR. It becomes a psychological tornado. Identity confusion. I don't know who I am. Borderline personality disorder creates identity instability. Depersonalization derealization disorder disconnects you from your identity altogether. Together, they create moments where you might think, I don't know who I am, I don't feel like a real person. It feel like I'm made of fog. I feel like I'm acting instead of living. I don't know what's me and what's not me. This is not drama, this is not exaggeration, this is the lived experience of thousands of people. Relationships become even more terrifying. Borderline personality disorder already makes relationships feel high stakes and fragile. Depersonalization derealization disorder adds a haunting question. How can I love someone when I don't even feel real? During emotional closeness, DPDR may activate as a defense mechanism. You want connection, you crave closeness, you fear losing people, but dissociation makes you feel distant even from the people you care about. It is heartbreaking to want love so intensely and yet feel emotionally disconnected when it arrives. The constant fear of losing control. People with DPDR and BPD often live with a constant fear. What if I get stuck like this? What if I lose touch with the reality? What if I disappear into my own mind? What if I can't control my emotions or my sense of self? The panic from DPDR combines with the emotional intensity of borderline personality disorder, creating a fear that feels overwhelming, suffocating, and relentless. Hidden strength behind the struggle. But here is something important. Living with these two disorders is not weakness, it is survival. Every day, people with BPD plus DPDR wake up and face emotions that many would run from. They navigate reality distortions that will terrify others. They push through fear, confusion, and disconnection with the strength most people never have to develop. They learn to rebuild themselves from fragments. They learn to ground themselves when the world feels like smoke. They learn to calm their minds even when their emotions scream. These individuals are not broken, they are warriors of the inner world. Conclusion: understanding creates compassion. Depersonalization derealization disorder combined with borderline personality disorder is a painful, disorienting, overwhelming experience. It means feeling too much and feeling nothing, craving connection and feeling disconnected, wanting identity and losing identity, emotional storms and emotional emptiness, reality feeling too sharp one moment and unreal the next. People living with this combination deserve understanding, not judgment, compassion, not assumptions, support, not dismissal. Because behind the dissociation, behind the emotional intensity, behind the fear, there's a human being doing their best to survive a mind that does not always feel like their own. Thank you. I was diagnosed in my written report from a psychologist with both borderline personality disorder and DPDR, depersonalization derealization disorder. So you can watch my YouTube videos to see what a person with these disorders is like.